Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Guys, the next step in the credit risk management process is the credit risk measurement. So in the earlier videos, we have reviewed the first step, that is the credit risk identification, involving some aspect of credit evaluation or credit assessment of the prospective borrower or customer using the FICO scoring and the 5 C's, and I have given two main financial ratios that is utilized by the banking firms to assess the credit standing of the customer. One was the debt to income ratio, and that will usually be used to assess the credit standing of the retail customer, and the other one will be the loan to value ratio or financing to value ratio. That can also be used for both retail and business customer. Now we go to the second step, which is the credit risk measurement, and we have some example here to use for illustration. The main idea of this credit risk measurement is to calculate what we call the expected loss. So the expected loss is essentially the potential loss from the loan facility or from the murabaha facility, given the respective parameter, such as the probability of default, loss given default, and exposure at default. So we have the PD of 5%, meaning that 5% of the time the customer may default on his or her debt obligation. The loss given default of 25%, meaning that if the facility went into default, then the bank will not be able to recover 25% of their loan or murabaha. They may be able to recover the balance, that is 75%. So that is LGD. And then exposure at default is 180 million. So meaning that the facility is 200 million, but upon default, the balance of the loan or murabaha is 180 million, which is 20 million less. So we can see in in this illustration, we can see that this is year 1 to year 5, and the facility is 200 million, and the PD of the customer is 5% over here, and we assume that the default occur in year 2, and the balance is 180 million, and that will be the exposure at given default. So this is essentially how we illustrate the data that is given here. Then the next thing to do is to estimate what is the expected loss of the exposure. So there is a formula given here. Expected loss is equal to PD times LGD times EAD. So we got this number, so we just put them here in the equation. So expected loss will be 5%, 0.05 times the LGD of 25%, 0.25, times the exposure at default, which is 180 million. So the expected loss is 2.25 million. So it implies that for the facility of 100 and for the total murabaha facility or loan facility of 200 million, the expected loss will be 2.25 million. So now the question here is what will be the so-called purpose. What is the purpose of estimating this loan loss provision? And we can see here that earlier I've posed these three questions, given that we have the three parameter PD, LGD, AED, find the expected loss. So we have calculated the expected loss at 2.25 million. And then what is the purpose of estimating the expected loss? So what is the use of this number of 2.25 million that we have gotten from this calculation? So what is the purpose? And one of the purpose, of course, is to estimate the credit spread. So this is the credit spread because one of the main purpose of estimating the expected loss is the pricing of the loan, pricing of the interest rate, or pricing of the profit rate. So given the fact that the credit spread is one component of the interest rate or the profit rate, if you can just look at here the purpose of estimating the expected loss, we go to the pricing decision first. So meaning that for conventional bank, interest rate is the price of the loan. So it consists of the cost of fund, which is the overnight policy rate, plus the credit spread. Right? Likewise, for Islamic bank, the profit rate is the sum of the cost of fund plus the credit spread. So what is the credit spread? The credit spread is the part of the profit rate or interest rate that is based on the default risk of the customer or the default risk of the borrowing party. So in order to calculate the credit spread from the expected loss, so then we may have to use one special formula, that is, the credit spread is equal to the expected loss divided by the murabahah facility or the loan facility. So we got the 2.25 million expected loss divided by 200 million of the facility. So we got 1.13%. So that will be the credit spread that we have computed given the nominal value EL of 2.25 million and a murabahah facility of 200 million. So that is 1.13%. So the profit rate will be gotten from the sum of the cost of fund, which is the overnight policy rate, 3%, plus 1.13%, which is the credit spread. So the profit rate will be 4.13%. So that will be the profit rate charged to the murabahah facility. So that is one of the main objective of estimating the expected loss, so that we can use this estimate to further estimate the credit spread in the loan pricing or in the murabahah profit rate pricing. The other objective of estimating the expected loss is to determine the amount of loan or financing loss provision needed, for the loan or murabahah exposure. So we can see that the exposure is 200 million, and we want to make a provision or a loss provision in case there is a default in the facility. So we need to be prepared to ensure that this default event, the loss of which can be managed, is well managed by the banking company. So we can see here that if we have a revenue of 10 million from the loan or from the financing, and then the cost of deposit of 3 million, then the gross earning will be 7 million. So the overhead expenses is 2 million. And from the previous estimation of expected loss, so we will just plug in the loss provision or loan loss provision or the financing loss provision of 2.25 million. Then the remaining will be the net earning for the bank, which is 2.75 million. So that is the use of the expected loss estimate to be used as a way to set or to determine the loan loss provision for conventional bank or the financing loss provision for Islamic banking. And that would be the simplest way that I can use today to illustrate the importance of the credit risk measurement in the credit risk management process. And I hope that this is clear to all of you guys. And inshallah, the next video we will be covering the credit risk mitigation. Thank you very much for your time. I'll see you again. Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.